all the Met fans out there, and they love it because they have a guy that actually is digging in his pockets and spending money behind the whole, what do we call them? The coupons.
Yep.
This is an organization now that's going to dig deep into his pockets. And we all know Steve Cohen yearly makes between $1 and $1.5 billion on what he does in the stock market. Listen, Steve Cohen was out, and he was out for blood this offseason. He needed to add that superstar player. He was out there looking to make a move for Juan Soto, and he got his man. He definitely got his man. I told everybody before the season even started with the Yankees, when everybody asked me, where do you think Juan Soto is going to go in the offseason? I didn't think the Yankees were going to pull the trigger. Now, there were stories coming out, as Jeff Passan said, that he believes the Yankees offered 16 years worth about $787 million. I don't believe that, okay? Obviously, it's a story. It's a rumor. We'll never know the truth. I never thought Juan Soto was going to be a New York Yankee. And there's a lot of reasons why. And one of the main reasons is Francisco Lindor. Francisco Lindor has a very close relationship with Juan Soto. He trains with Juan Soto in the offseason. There were stories coming out that after the season, Francisco Lindor went to Steve Cohen, went to Stearns, and asked him and told him, get this deal done. Get my guy here so we can create a superstar team and a superstar lineup. I think that this team is now built to win. Now, we all know what the Dodgers are. We see what they added. They added Snell now with deferred money. This is a great rotation. Now that Ohtani's going to be a part of that rotation, I mean, the Dodgers are still the best team in the National League. There's no question. But we all expected Juan Soto to get over $700 million. I expected Juan Soto to break Ohtani's number. I did. It's still not what Ohtani should be making, and that's, I think, around $70 million after, 2035. That's what Ohtani's going to be making a year. But it's still more money that Ohtani, guaranteed money that Ohtani wasn't going to get. I do love the fact that the Mets went after their guy. That's something that the Wilpons did not do all those years. And when they did, they absolutely fall flat on their faces. Now, does Juan Soto give them the best chance to win? 100%. We saw what he did with the Yankees against Cleveland, that game-winning 3-run home run against Cleveland. We all know what Juan Soto could do. The guy barely strikes out, but he is a hitter. He is not a pitcher. Now, the Mets added, me and Joba were talking about it, obviously, Holmes in the this offseason. Clay Holmes is no longer a relief pitcher like he was with the Yankees. He's a starter. I'm not saying they overpaid for him, but I don't think he's a starter. They added Montas. We know what Frankie Montas is. We saw him with the Yankees. He was with Milwaukee last year. He pitched okay. He hasn't been the same pitcher when he came from the Oakland Athletics. I think they overpaid him. I just think that the Mets are going all in on this. And I know Met fans are sitting here, and you should be happy. All you Met fans out there, you should be excited. You got one of the top 5 players in baseball. And what Lindor did last year, this guy was an MVP candidate, top 3. So you got 2 guys that can absolutely lead you to where you want to be. But the Mets, for years, ladies and gentlemen, has added big-time superstars. And when they go to the Mets, just like the Jets, they fall flat on their face. And I'm not saying Juan Soto is going to do that. But I know Yankee fans. Now, going to the Yankees thing, the Yankees position, this is good for the Yankees. And I'm going to tell you why it's good for the Yankees. The Yankees are strapped with Giancarlo Stanton, Garrett Cole, and now Aaron Judge for the next, I would say, Giancarlo Stanton, I think, has 4 more years left on his contract. You have Garrett Cole, who has 5. And now you have Aaron Judge, who has, I think, about 7. So you have all these guys under contract. If you added Juan Soto to that pact of players, that's 15 years, maybe even 16 years, where you're strapped for cash. Now, this is the Yankees. And everybody says, if George was alive, this would have never happened. The problem is George isn't alive. And Hal is running the show right now. And the Yankees, it wasn't just Juan Soto on the reason why the Yankees did not beat the Dodgers. It was depth. It was depth in their lineup. And now, not adding Juan Soto, you can go after a Bregman. You could go after guys like that. You have an option now where you can add 3 players or maybe even a pitcher and 3 players offensively to that lineup that can give you what Juan Soto is going to give you, and you could probably save a significant amount of money yearly by doing that. So I know Yankee fans are not happy that they lost out on Juan Soto and one of the best players in baseball, but it does benefit the Yankees moving forward where they can spread out the wealth and make this team more more all heavy all around with their lineup instead of top heavy with the Yankees have been for years over the last 20 years as far as their lineup is concerned.
And now everybody's kind of just licking their lips when they are going to come into free agency and obviously setting the bar. Obviously there's not too many Juan Sotos of the world, but obviously age coming to be a huge factor in it. What he's done in the postseason in big moments. I mean, it's crazy to think, like, just going through like all of like this stuff. Like if you break it down and he plays about the same games or whatever, and the amount that he's getting per at bat would be 3 for just a walk, 389,411 per strikeout and 1.3 per home run. That's if it stays the same. And what's even crazier? So the average game was a little under 2 hours and 40 minutes, right? And
pace of play numbers. Never thought that would come into this discussion.
He's making $121,000 an hour. That's $2,000 a minute and $34 a second. Like, when you look at that, I mean, it's crazy to think you're getting to these numbers. And, this one you kind of do shake your head at. Like, when I saw this, knew it was probably going to be over 700 because that's just kind of what Boris does. And it's like 715, 730 when it came out. I'm like, yeah, I didn't expect 765. I mean, it's crazy. But you know what? Kudos to them for saying, I don't care what it takes. We're going to get it done. And as a player, if you, like we've talked about before, it starts from the top to the bottom. Mm-hmm. If your owner's going to sell out to get a guy like this and be like, any means necessary, I don't care. You can come back and forth, do all your stuff, but in the end, I'm going to win. Like, you got to be fired up for that. Like, Mets players have to be fired up for it to see that he's not scared. And obviously he's came out and said that, but he's actually put his money where his mouth is and made this huge deal. And who's to say he's done, honestly? Yeah. I mean, there are some quality people and some big names still out there that, he may go after too. I mean, it could be a guy like Corbin Burns. They get another pitcher. It could be, somebody that we aren't even thinking of. And, he goes out and surprises. Like, everybody, when you make big deals, it's like, what can we do next? And I bet they've had that conversation. Okay, we got him. Now where do we go? What do we want to do? And I think it's great for baseball too. I think these numbers, and if you're the casual fan, you're like, well, I want to see what 765 million is worth, and maybe they tune in. So I don't think it's terrible for baseball. I think guys becoming free agents are really excited because you set a mark, and if you become a generational talent, you kind of know the value of what you're going to get. So all in all, I think it was really, really good because they got everybody talking. It was like, okay, Soto sweepstakes, and then now I think it's going to take off now. We've had some signings here and there with Snell, and there's been a few others like Jordan Romano just signed. And so, but I think there's going to be some really, really good signings popping up here soon with, Burns and Fried and some of those top tier guys. And I'm really interested to see where Bregman goes. That's one that I'm interested to see because I think he brings a lot of value, not only, at the plate, but, in the field. And he's obviously had postseason success. So it'll be interesting to see how these chips all fall. But it's exciting because I think it keeps people invested in the game, of course, when it's the off season. And I think these contracts, first of all, are insane.
Yes.
But it makes it fun.
And you're right, Jabba. And I know all Met fans, and I know Josh was telling me, what are you going to do to the Mets? What are you going to say about the Mets when this happens and you're on the show? And it's very simple. The Mets got their guy. Steve Cohen got his guy. So this is something that the Wilpons did not do for many, many years. They didn't go after the guy. This guy is a generational player. He's going to change your lineup for the better. So all you Met fans should be very excited that he is now heading over there to Citi Field. The problem here is he played in Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium is a bandbox. Citi Field's a big ballpark. It's not going to be as easy to hit home runs if he barely gets a hold of the ball, or he just gets just enough of the ball. It's not going to be like Yankee Stadium where you can pull the ball and hit a home run. So he hit 44 home runs last year, 45. He's probably this year, if everything goes right, he hits somewhere close to that. If it doesn't, he's probably going to hit between 35 and 38. He's probably going to hit about 500 or 600 less home runs, being that he's in Citi Field and not in Yankee Stadium. But the one thing I could say about Juan Soto, he stays healthy. He plays a significant amount of games. That's something that you need from a player. That's something that the Mets never get. So if he stays healthy, the Mets are in a really good position. Lindor showed you he's a good leader. I expect Pete Alonso to sign in the next couple of weeks, probably a week from now. He's going to stay with the Mets. I think that had a lot to do with Juan Soto signing with the Mets, is making sure that Pete Alonso stays there. Because now you have Murder's Row. You have Lindor. You have now Pete Alonso, and now you have Soto. You have a three top powered hitters that you can put in your lineup. You can mix it around, and obviously Lindor is going to hit 2. That's where he's probably going to hit. And then you have Soto hitting 3 and Pete Alonso hitting 4 as a cleanup hitter. I mean, this is as good a lineup right now in the National League as you're going to get. Now, again, you're in a division where you have Atlanta, who wasn't healthy this year. I expect Atlanta to be much better this year with some of the players having and coming back. And again, you sit here, and I know a lot of Met fans are going to say, well, they stole Soto away from the Yankees, so that's always good. They didn't steal anything. I think Hal gave a number, and Hal was staying within that number.